What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we are going to go over the SIG Spear versus the SIG Spear Lite, or the SIG Spear LT for short. Now, these guns have been around for a little bit now. Made quite a splash when they did come out. But I just want to go over some of the similarities and differences, and I know there's other versus videos out there, but I want to go into detail on the little things that you're going to find on each of these rifles. And I know I'm kind of comparing apples to oranges right now because this one obviously is a 308. This is a 5.56 version, but I do think they look extremely similar if you're looking at them from afar, and you may want to know how to tell the differences between the two other than the round, right? But before I get into all that, what is my relationship with Sig Sauer? Now, Sig does send me out firearms for review testing purposes. They do not give them to me for free. I do have to purchase them if I do like them. So if I don't like them, I just send them back. Hey, thanks for the video, or thanks for the gun so I can make the video. And spoiler alert, I do end up pretty much buying everything. And lastly, I want to thank the channel sponsor, Atlantic Firearms, for being so gracious and sponsoring my YouTube endeavors and dealing with all of my shenanigans and helping me make this content for you guys. I really appreciate those guys. You have to check them out. They sell a lot of cool AKs. I always buy AKs from them. Now, starting off with some of the similarities here, they're both equipped with 16-inch barrels, but on the 5.56 version, it is 1-in-7 twist. On the 7.62 version, it's a 1-in-10 twist. They both come with this 3-prong flash hider that is able to use their SIG suppressors on both of these. This is just basically a 308 version of this one here, or vice versa, however you want to see it. Moving on back, you're going to get quite a bit of difference on the rails. So if you pay attention really closely, on the LT, the M-LOK slots aren't as, you don't have as many M-LOK slots as you do on the Spear, right? So if you're looking at the 308 version here, it's very cheese grater looking-ish, right? So you get a lot of M-LOK slots all the way around and all the way back here. On the LT, it doesn't look as cheese grater-ish, and I'm using that term loosely, right? So this one just seems like it's a lot busier in terms of how many open slots you have. But for me personally, I really like the Spear, the 308 version. I like the fact that there's a lot more options on this to put lights and all the stuff that I want to put on this. But the biggest thing here is you're getting a QD attachment point on the left and the right side, or got that mixed up, but you get what I'm saying, right? You're getting a QD attachment on that, but you're not getting them on the LT. Not sure why they didn't do that. Maybe for the fact that they're just trying to shave as much weight as possible. But I feel like that's kind of a downside to having this rail. I mean, you could still attach something on there to put a sling on there, right? But I do like that it's integrated into the Spear here. Also, if you pay really close attention to the front of the Spear here, you're getting a normal setting on the left side with a down arrow engraved into the rail, and on the right side you're getting a suppress setting with a down arrow that's engraved into the rail as well. On the LT, you don't have it on the rail itself, you have it on the receiver that's engraved into there. So you have the down arrow with a negative symbol on the left side and a down arrow with a positive symbol on the right side. The upper receiver on the 5.56 version here, or the LT, is a little bit different. I mean, a lot of bit different. I'm not going to say a little bit different, because you do, on the left side, you get a side charging handle, which I think is really, really, really cool. It's giving me that FAL vibes, you know. I think that's a really neat feature to have on the Spear. And you also do get a normal, like, AR-10, AR-15 charging handle in the back there. So you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. Now, I do think this side charger is going to come in handy, especially for malfunctions or something like that, right? Where you're maybe prone on the ground and you get a malfunction, you don't have to come back to this charging handle and try to dick around with it and lock it open. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with that, because all AR-15s are like that, so you just work around it. But it just makes it a little bit easier to just have that on the side, where you don't have to put a lot of strain on yourself, I guess. I'm sounding like a weak, pathetic human right now, but it's just neat to have a side charger. It just really looks cool. And the more options you have, hey, why the hell not? Now, similar dust covers, right? You just get a metal dust cover there. Forward assist on both of these. Safety selectors are essentially the same thing. Magazine releases are essentially the same thing. You're gonna see a difference on the trigger. The trigger, the way it's designed is a little bit different than the other. So on this one here, it kind of comes down at the curve and has this little lightning cut in there, this little cut out in the trigger. This one looks more like a mil-spec style trigger. I do like this trigger more. I can get pretty decent splits on this one here. Not sure if I'm even able to touch those splits. Like say this one was able to put in here, right? I don't know if I would be able to do those splits just because of that 308 recoil is going to be slapping me around. I mean, when I shot this thing, it was pushing me around quite a bit and bruising up my shoulder. So this is a very gnarly gun to shoot if you're shooting it for long periods of time. But yeah, I wish the trigger on this one was in that one. It just makes it feel a little bit better. Now the grips are also exactly the same. The bolt release though on these two are different. I do prefer the one on the Speer just because of the way it's angled. So on this one here, it's kind of just like a shelf, right? It's a shelf that you just pop down every time you need to release that bolt. So you lock it open just like that, and when you need to release it, just boom, goes straight down, right? On the 308 version, you lock it the same way, but this shelf isn't at a flat surface. It's at like a angled point, right? So it just feels a little bit more comfortable and easier for me to get to that there. Again, that's just me being a picky civilian, the little features that I like on this one compared to this one. None of this is going to be a huge deal. They're both phenomenal guns. I just would prefer little things on each of them. The ping pong paddle on the left side of each of these are exactly the same, and you get your ambidextrous bolt release that's exactly the same too. On the rear of the receiver, you are getting basically the same exact QD points, but on the rear of the receiver on the Speer, you're getting this little like cutout on the back there, and I think that's really cool looking compared to the Speer LT here. Moving on back, you do get two different style buttstocks. Now, at first, I was like, why didn't they just give you a metal stock like this and put it on here? But I did swap them. I don't have a video or photo of it or anything like that, but I did swap this one onto here, and it looked very anemic at the ass end of that thing with this little metal stock. So I'm glad they went this way. So I wouldn't change anything about these right now. I am glad that they put a little bit more surface area on the rear of this 308, just because that 308 round does tend to pack quite a bit of a punch on this guy here specifically. Now again, without getting too much into detail, the internals of it are going to be quite different just because the bolt and everything is basically doubled in size on the 308 compared to the 5.56 version. But you can look at other reviews on the internals of that. Now that pretty much does it in terms of the small little details and differences between the two. They look very, very, very similar. They're both similar colors. I'm just being extremely spoiled and nitpicky when it comes to some of the features that are on the Speer, and me wanting those features on here and wanting some of these features on the LT onto the Speer. But the major difference that you're going to see is the price. I mean, this gun is going to be close to $5,000 compared to 2,000 something, I think 2,200, 2,300, I don't know what it is. Basically, you're getting half the gun for half the price. Now, the decision that you might have to make, or you're probably sitting here watching this video and trying to decide which one to pick up. So you're gonna sit there and be like, why would you pay $5,000 for that when you can get this? And literally all that's different is just the caliber. and some of the small little features on there. So again, with every review or anything that I do, guys, I don't want to force anything upon you. I think these both are very, very cool guns, and they shoot great. I have about 1,500 rounds through this 308 here, and I have around like 3,000 through this LT here, and they both are phenomenal working guns for me. It's just, do you really want to pay that price? It's essentially up to you guys. I'm not gonna force something upon you. I'm just trying to show you somebody that's new into firearms, that's looking at these and just seeing them from afar, don't even want to purchase them. They're gonna say, hey, that's the same exact gun. It's not the same gun. They have a lot of different details. But overall, cool guns. I just like it. It's different, guys. It's a different style of AR-15 and AR-10, right? And this one is adopted by the military now, so it's like, yeah, I want something that the military can have, and now I can have it. Most of you are probably in the same boat where you want something super cool, and if you're looking at both of these, if you choose a caliber, if you want a 308, then obviously you're gonna go with this one. If you want a 5.56, then obviously you're gonna go with this one. And I don't really know if this is a pointless video. I didn't really know what to make this video about because there's already other reviews on the two, but I haven't really seen people compare these small little details on these guns. But yeah, that pretty much does it, guys. Just trying to give you guys some decent content if that's not already out there. So I thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all. Catch you in the next one.